What's up? What's up?
What it do, Big Crew? It's your boy Savon Thomas, back with another episode of Coffee and Comments. And today we're going to review the movie In Time, starring Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, who else was in there? Cillian Murphy. This is a weird movie. So I seen this movie back in the day. This is when Justin Timberlake was doing his thing, his acting thing. I know he was on SNL at the time. He also came out with Facebook or whatever that movie was about Facebook. Or a Social Network, that's what it's called, Social Network. And so I think this is when he was trying to do his acting thing. I haven't seen him really in too many movies since then. You know, I think Social Network came out in like 2010. This one came out in 2011. But other than that, I haven't really seen Justin Timberlake in too many movies in a while. Like, it's been over a decade since I've seen him in a movie. So I remember seeing this movie when it came out. I thought the premise of the movie was interesting back then. And so randomly, I came across my timeline on Instagram or Twitter, I forget where it was, and I was like, I want to watch that movie. So I looked it up. I found it on YouTube. It is available on Hulu as well, but I found it on YouTube, and I was like, I'm going to watch this. And so I enjoyed this movie. But before we get into our review, if this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Like the video, let the algorithm know that this is a good video, and just keep tuning in. I appreciate you for being part of the Bean crew. But again, this is a review of the movie In Time, starring Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, and Cillian Murphy, just to name kind of the top billing cast. And the premise of this movie is basically, instead of paying with money, we pay with time, right? Which is, regardless of what you think, that's actually how most people live anyway, because most people trade their time for money. Like, so basically the movie is you're born, and then when you turn 25 years old, you have 1 year. Or is it 1 year or 1 month? I forget. It's either 1 year or 1 month worth of time. And so you spend and buy things with time. And the area, the zone that Justin Timberlake's character goes up is the ghetto. So people in the ghetto actually have less time than people out, you know, that live in different zones that have more resources. And so Justin Timberlake's character meets this rich dude, actually played by Matt Bomer, who has a crap ton of time, right? He's a rich dude, came in town, has a crap ton of time. He saves that guy's life. That guy was ready to end it all anyway, so he gives all of his time to Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake goes out into the rich zones and just experiences a different world out there where everybody out there just has buku amounts of time. So in the ghetto, they all have a month, or they're living day by day, and they're just working in their day, and they're living day by day or week by week. But out there, they have like centuries and decades. And what they find out is there's actually enough time for everybody. The rich people are just being stingy, right? And I feel like there's some symbolism there. I mean, they're trying to make a point. And there are all rich people that are stingy. I know some good rich people too, though. And it's an interesting plot overall of this movie. It's what drew me in. But the execution of it wasn't what I expected, right? So the beginning of it, you see all that happen, but that happens in like the first 10 minutes. Maybe it's 20, maybe this movie felt, it's not a long movie, but in the first like 20 minutes, he meets this guy, he gets his time, he moves to the rich part, the rich zone, and then he's just kind of, I don't know, moving his way around the rich zone, and then they finally get him back to the ghetto. I'm not going to explain how all this stuff happens, but at that point he meets Amanda Seyfried, who is actually the daughter of one of the richest men in the world, and so they did all this that would have been super interesting to watch, but they just fast forwarded it too much for me. Like, once you got to the point where Justin Timberlake got back to the ghetto, that's when the movie started to like elongate, and they started to talk more about plot. It started to develop more into more of a story, but I just wish they would have on the front end, because that was so cool to see. Like, it was so cool. He was gambling with his time. He was living life in the rich zone or whatever, and that only lasted for like a day that he was there. And then you get to, you know, him back to the ghetto, and all this stuff ensues with him trying to give time to his friends, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie that's very enjoyable. But overall, the plot was good. I just wish that they would have taken more emphasis on the beginning and just shortened that out. I feel like if you had done that, and play that storyline a little bit more, then the back end of it would have been just as good as it was, but you would have more of a piece to understand kind of the lifestyle of the people that live out in other zones. Because you spend a lot of time in the main zone, but it's just that, you wish you would have seen some more in the beginning. And then the relationship between Amanda Seyfried's character and Justin Timberlake's character, just, I don't know, it just, they gassed that so quickly too. A lot of the movie just seemed rushed. And I get it. You have a certain amount of runtime. I just feel like it wasn't properly planned. Everything just kind of seemed like rushed to get to a point, right? And so there's a lot that happens in the movie, but acting by Justin Timberlake was good. It wasn't bad. Seyfried played a great character. Cillian Murphy, which is weird. I've been seeing all these movies. I'm like, dang, Cillian Murphy is in more stuff than I realized. I watched the Batman series. He's in all of those movies. I watched different movies. I mean, you guys know the guy. I mean, Peaky Blinders, obviously. And I'm like, man, I never realized. I guess I just never noticed, or didn't know who he was, and now I know who he is. I've seen all these old movies, and I'm like, dang, this dude's been around for a while. But Cillian Murphy did a good job. So acting is good. I don't have anything to complain about there. Plot's good. Just wish they wouldn't have fast forward parts. So overall, decent movie. For me, I give this a 6.5 out of 10. You can go watch it, and it's available on Hulu, it looks like. I watched it on YouTube. Some random person uploaded it on YouTube for free, so you don't have to pay for it. You can just go watch it on YouTube. Somebody had it on YouTube for free. So I watched it there, but you can watch it on Hulu if you have that as well. But thanks for tuning in to another episode of Coffee and Comments.